already in?
Live as well.
Did you guys already put it in?
I'd like to welcome everybody to the March 13th Hyde Park Town Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very quickly, we're going to ask for a motion to enter an executive session for an interview of a particular person. May I have that motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. We're going to do this very quickly.
Quick vote.
Huh?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Here we go. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to come out of the executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to have a motion to accept the meetings from February 13th and February 27th meetings.
So
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, any opposed? You want to do that now?
You can pull the resolution.
Right, Resolution 22. I need a motion to pull at the dais Resolution number 22.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Public comment on resolutions in town business only. Note time limit of 3 minutes. Anybody? Yeah, John.
My name is John Shaleppi, and I'm residing at One River Road in Hyde Park. And I wanted to talk on the Belfield proposal.
John, just pull that mic just a little closer to you, please.
Sure, thank you, John, very good, okay. Regarding the issue of the request for a 20-year pilot for the Belfield neighborhood residential area, I learned two things since the last public hearing, which I think was about 2 weeks ago. First, I learned that the pilot would not begin until after certificates of occupancy were obtained for the housing units, which means no taxes would be due until after construction had been completed. This is reasonable, but it means that that no taxes would be received for at least 3 years, and that full taxes will be 25 years away from now. We're talking, actually, I guess it's really 2046 before the full share of taxes would be paid. The second thing I learned was far more troubling. The proposed plan presented to the town board at the last meeting is not what the developers hope to build. At the last town board meeting, we were told most of the units, approximately 70%, would be one-bedroom units, apartments. The developers, however, last week presented to the planning board a new plan which indicated that none of the units would be one bedroom. So we're going from 70% one bedroom to none would be one bedroom. The importance of that in regard to the school board is that the third party, Camoin, predicted that there would be 69 students entering the school district. Now we're talking about a number that's going to be not 69, but I did the calculation, more than 160 people. The cost to the school at about $24,000 per student I think it's 23.8 or something like that currently. And in 3 years, it'll certainly be 24,000 or more. For the 160-plus students would be $4 million a year. $4 million a year. And in addition to that, the first year, as soon as those multi-bedroom units are given their certificates of occupancy, they will have students. So it's not a question of it'll build to that, but as the people come in, people who are looking for 2 bedrooms are more likely to have children of school age. And the third party came up with the idea that most of the apartments were 1 bedroom. Okay.
Okay, finish.
I can go a little bit further. You might question whether or not the proposal that the planning board received or your proposal is the true one. It would be easy enough to give a 20-year pilot only if at least 70% of the units were 1 bedroom, a number that could be counted when the certificates of occupancy are issued. And if they are not at least 70% 1 bedroom, then it would revert back to a 10-year pilot. Thank you. Okay. And thanks for the extra time. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Beth Culp, and I'm a 45-year resident of Ward 1 in Hyde Park. I'm asking you to vote no this evening on the resolution to recommend a 20-year pilot for the Belfield development. Many aspects of the T-Rex proposal have been vague and shifting. There was little detail even in support of the need for a 20-year pilot in the first place. We've just heard that there have been contradictory statements as to the type and number of residential units that are to be built. And I agree with the serious impact that this will have on our school district. Even a 10-year pilot should not be applied until that wrinkle is smoothed out. There have been hyperbolic claims about how much sales tax will be generated from the project, when in fact, Dutchess County collects sales taxes, redistributes them to the towns and cities according to a population-based formula that's not especially favorable to Hyde Park. Most of the sales tax generated by this development will go elsewhere. But the main reason to oppose the resolution is that a 20-year pilot is a financial hardship on the taxpayers of our town. The Belfield folks have not been candid about this, suggesting that because they're going to maintain their own roads and lighting, they are not going to cost the town any money. This is clearly not the case. Police calls will increase. Fire calls will increase. Well, fire is not town, but it is taxpayer. And as a friend of mine put it, the addition of hundreds of new homes will create a corresponding increase in everything the town does, from tax bills to building permits to dog licenses. This will cost money. Town government aside, demand for services of the Hyde Park Library, and especially of our school district, will balloon. And it will be Hyde Park residents who will have to cover these expenses for a for-profit developer if this pilot is approved. I am not opposed to the Belfield development in itself, but the 10-year pilot that they have already been granted is more than generous, a decade of tax relief. If they want to build in Hyde Park, it's only fair that they pay their share of taxes. I hope that when you vote tonight on this resolution, you will have the taxpayers of Hyde Park foremost in your minds. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to say something because I don't know how people are getting information that's inaccurate. There are one-bedrooms. I've seen it in the plans, and they didn't state that previously. So there are a lot of one-bedrooms and a lot of two-bedrooms. The other thing, that's for you, John. It's not a residential project, it's a mixed use. It has a lot of commercial aspect to it. The COs, the way it works is similar to what's going on at Eastdale. It's done in, obviously, in phases. Yes, the infrastructure, you don't see any taxes out of dirt anyway. But as the buildings start to go up and get their COs, the pilot starts right then and there. So it'll be starting in sequencing. So by the time the 5 years, assumption of 5-year completion, you have to wait for 5 years for the pilot to start paying taxes, okay? It rolls in as they get developed. Okay, so that's clear. Again, I don't know where you get the one bedroom. There's also, in this phase, 12 townhome units. They're 100% taxable. Okay, and they're going to move into, after this phase, they'll do the Crescent, then they'll go to the over 400 residential facilities that are 100% taxable again. Now, for Beth, sales tax, as always, is collected by New York State, distributed to the counties, and then it breaks down to the town. We've been very lucky and fortunate that we get a decent share of that. We just got a report on that recently. The other thing, taxpayers, there's no impact to taxpayers. As we explained, the fire gets paid, the emergency EMRs, all that is paid 100%. I think the library is even paid 100%. So there's no impact to them either. So that's all, they pay the tax on that, whatever it's supposed to be. I don't know if the dog tax gets affected. I don't think so.
Only if you have a dog.
I have 4. But, so, some people are being misinformed. And the reason I know is because I've been sitting on the IDA, LDC, and Economic Development for 10 years. So, this misinformation that's getting put out there is detrimental to what's going on. This project needs this portion of it. Obviously, you see what's going on with these failing banks. If you were a developer right now and that bank hits you, like we pulled a resolution this evening because that bank that was supposed to provide us with letters of credit are tied into Silicon Valley's bank. So they can't even give the letters of credit, so all this mishmash that's going on until it's resolved, and that's beyond us. That's what's happening. These guys need the 20-year for this phase because it's the nucleus of this project. And they need it because it's a $500 million, $407 million project. Now, a bank has to have the security that you're not going to be overtaxed and overburdened to be able to pay back that loan, and that's a big loan. Okay, so that's the understanding that you need to get that into your head, and it does not affect the current taxes. If taxes go up between now until this is built, it's got nothing to do with the pilot. Once the pilot's completed, it's going to generate sales tax. That does come to us. It goes collected by the state, goes through its normal function as it always does. They're not tax exempt on that. The only tax abatement they get is like on the school districts and on the towns, and it's on building products only, the construction material. That's their abatement there. Their land and school, yes, they get reductions, but the school tax will be receiving well over $100,000 more than they would have received before, maybe 200 and somewhat thousand. So all this stuff about not getting the taxes, the infrastructure is going to hurt everybody, that's totally untrue. That's not how it works. This is a draw attraction. Beacon's done it, look what's happened to Beacon. East Fishkill's done it, look what's happened to East Fishkill. It brings economic growth in a big way. The town is thinking of tying into that sewer system. That will save this town $14 million to not have to build its own sewer plant. So there's a lot of positives going on here, and it will bring, and we want to get the sewer built in obviously, to get the businesses up here moving and going prior to them getting going, so it doesn't hurt our local guys up here. So I hope that helps answer some of your questions that you haven't, that, you know, I don't know where you're getting it from, but that's clarity. I mean, you can speak to them directly if you want, but, you know, it's,
Just one idea, I think that you...
Come back up to the mic, John, please.
I understand about the excess, the increase in the sales tax, and I think that you just came up with a number of about 100 or 200,000 that would be received. Know, though, that the school district will be paying $4 million more. That is, that their cost will be $4 million more because of the 160.
I don't think you're going to
I
get
don't
this.
think you're
Have
gonna-
you seen
I
this
don't know how you
place?
came up with 160 students out of a two-bedroom apartment.
Because if they were all two-family residents, but they're not.
Well,
They're
but
still not.
Camoin, which is the third-party group that assessed it, they expected 69 more students.
Okay.
Yes.
That was their estimate. Now, if instead of 100 two-family, there are 344, what was that? I think it was 340 or 344.
Total.
Units total.
Total units.
Then-
They're not all,
Yes, well, the planning board, now, if the planning board is wrong, or if my source was wrong on the planning board, then why not do it as, we will give a 20-year if at least 70% of the units are one bedroom. If your numbers are correct, fine. If your numbers are wrong, and you can count them when the certificate of occupancy are done, then it becomes a 10-year. Because the 160-plus number is accurate if they're all going to be two bedrooms.
Yes.
As accurate as the Camoins 69 was.
well, I know the IDA board can put in, we can give them recommendations to put in clawback clauses, which
Okay.
we've done in the past. There is a major clawback
Yeah.
on that project right now, where they have to get, within the opening of this first hotel,
Yeah.
within 5 years, that's why this other thing comes into play so quickly.
Yeah.
If they don't start that second hotel, which they're planning on starting it within 3 years, they lose their benefits. So there's clawbacks, and then the
Oh,
other
they- you
clawback
can
is if they don't use 80% local labor, people from the local areas, according to DOL's description of Hudson Valley, that they can get clawbacks. So it's,
So the
Yeah.
clawback is already in the first
But what
hotel part,
he's-
is that what he's saying?
yeah, no, the clawbacks are there. Well,
And you could
hotel's a
add-
hotel,
you could
there's no
add one.
children going to come
Yeah.
out of the hotel.
Yeah.
But
Could you add that one about,
we can make that recommendation to the developer, and then I can ask how to do it through the IDA, because
okay.
But it's my understanding, John,
Yeah.
so I want to make sure we're clear so that there's no confusion. It's my understanding that you're not going to get from a 20-year of what's negotiated back to a 10-year, because all their financial documentation that they supplied is for the project to sustain itself
Yeah.
and build out to where they need, and to get their financing in place, they need the 20-year pilot. I remember a couple meetings ago.
I actually specifically asked them at the last board meeting,
Yeah.
could you do a 10-year pilot or a 15-year pilot? And they said no. They would back out of the entire development.
they would land bank.
They
but-
just
Yeah.
can't get the funding.
Yeah. But that's
And my
what
other
it-
question to you, and
Yeah.
the time that I lived here, where did your kids go to school?
Ours did not go to the school
In the
district.
time that I've lived here, I have watched one public elementary and two private elementary schools closed. I would love to see children back in Hyde Park, because eventually, people are moving out of Hyde Park, and eventually, unfortunately, just as everybody here, my time on this planet is limited. So if we don't bring families in,
Well,
what's going to happen to our town? Were
and
we
that's-
as concerned about this when we were building Netherwood and North Park and FDR High School?
That's a good point, and I certainly would also like to have more students in the school district, as long as we have the money for it. And if we have the money for it, then yes, of course, but 160 students is now not just 2 or 3 classrooms, it's a school.
The
And-
company that did that, John,
Yeah.
was a third party placed on them by the county.
Yes,
That wasn't them hiring that company to come up with these numbers. So they have to stick to those numbers because it gets
Yeah.
written into the pilot program.
And I agree. I
You
was
know?
first afraid that it was all developers on the Camoin board.
No.
But it's not. It's business people, it's people with a lot of stuff in terms
Yes,
of
it's a mixed bag.
qualifications and economics. So no, I trust the 69. It's an estimate, but I trust it. But that's on the basis of one-bedrooms don't have kids. You know, it's really hard
Correct.
to have children in a one-bedroom. Not impossible. And all those came from the two-bedrooms, and now if you have 2.5 times as many two-bedrooms, then you're going to have 2.5 times as many kids.
I agree with that, but the thing is that when they write the pilot,
Yeah.
all that's written into the pilot. The findings of that company saying 69, it
Yeah.
could be less,
Oh, yeah.
but if they go to, and they cut out all the one bed, they can't. They
Yeah.
lose the pilot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm
And-
saying.
and they
It's
could be-
written
yeah.
that way.
Yeah, and no one said, I'm not sure now if Camoin said to the school district 69 or to school-age kids, which could also be going to private or parochial schools.
Correct.
And I don't know that, but $4 million is a lot for the taxpayers for the next 20 years to swallow, you know. At any rate, I think I said and you said.
No, if you look at the
everything.
numbers, actually, if they land bank it and they don't produce it, which there's plenty of, we've asked Sarah from the IDA board, there's plenty of projects that stopped because they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, the mathematics does not work.
Yeah. No, I-
And they do that, then you're going to get over 20 years, $6.2 million,
yeah.
when you would get $56 million. Everybody's looking at, oh, the developer benefits. It makes the project happen.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the homes, forget it. They can't complain about that. That's 100%. So hopefully they're, from what I'm hearing, $900,000. So there's a lot of tax dollars up there. We got to get to there. That's market driven.
Yeah.
And he wants to be out in 10 years. He wants to build this whole thing out, including those homes. So people may not think that's possible, but,
Yeah.
you know, it is.
Well, I've said my piece, and you can...
Very good. I always like when
and
you
I
talk.
appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you,
John.
I have a statement to add to this
Go ahead.
conversation.
Bring
During
it
the,
in closer.
right?
There you go.
During the past week since our last meeting, we have received several letters and emails from constituents. These communications are important for the representative government, so I thank everybody for those. As one letter recommended prior to the special meeting, the board should have time to consider and reflect on input from the community, not just vote that same night about the comments. So this is adding to that, so that's good. I have been considering the input and responses to questions at the last meeting. For example, when I asked Kelly about the 11% payment, i.e. the 89% abatement that also was included in Kelly's letter to the supervisor, she said she didn't know where the number 11 came from. Two things about this. I didn't like the 89% abatement, so I certainly was not comfortable with the 95% abatement that was presented that night at the meeting. Two, we were asked to use the Camoin report as the foundation of our decision. But as Kelly stated, the numbers presented in that report were not the numbers T-Rex wanted to use. Then, looking further throughout this time interval between meetings, I found out that the data presented in Camoin again was not the actual information. The Camoin report said that the majority of residence units were to be single-bedroom, 144 versus 100. This is specifically important for prospective number of children and therefore students. Now I understand that the information is inaccurate. There was not going to be single-bedroom units, according to planning board information. Is that deliberately misleading or based on an old, outdated report? Or is the report on which we are asked to make a decision flawed? Or is there a lack of transparency and efforts to push through this huge project on the part of the developers? If the foundational report is inaccurate and the structure on which it was built is flawed, then the product or the project is unstable. And if it's unstable, I can't support this 20-year pilot.
Duly noted.
So with that being said, I received the same documentation from some concerned residents from the prior administration. I did reach out because I wanted to have a discussion, because every time we get an email, it seems like the language in the email is twisted, or it seems like there's always a discrepancy. So for me, being from the old-fashioned way, I like to pick the phone up, and I like to get that individual on the phone. I like to have a discussion, may it be heated or unheated, and try to get down to the bare bones so that everybody's on the same page. So the correspondence that we received from two people, I reached out to one of them, which is the attorney that Lynn's been basically saying that's her constituent, and has been corresponding with her. And we've been playing phone tag, left several messages, call me over the weekend, call me anytime you want. I'd like to discuss this, so if there's anything that I'm missing, I can have a better understanding, or if there's something I can explain to you and put it in better perspective, I'd be more than glad to do that. Up to right now, I have not received a call. So what irritates me about something like that is, if somebody's going to make a complaint or not happy with the course of business that we're taking and wants to voice their opinion, not only should you voice it when one of the town board members are reaching out to you to try to find out what your concerns are so where they could be addressed, I think it would be most decent that them people call me back or call anybody back so we can get to the bottom of it. And they have not, so that irritated me a little bit.
That's not, she's not my constituent.
Well,
She's not
no,
my
it's-
But I just want to say, I have heard several of my actual.
I'm just saying, the one that come through that said there was a lawyer and a prior board member and sent stuff to the town clerk, I do reach out to people and try to get their perspective, and I didn't get a response from her. So just to let you know, if they're that concerned, they should be here tonight, they should have been here 2 weeks ago, or they should return a town board member's phone call, whatever. It just doesn't settle in my stomach like the people are trying to get to solve the problem. I think they're trying to create a problem, and that's only my personal opinion.
Come to the mic. Tish.
Good?
I would just like to respond to a point made from that email. My name is it on? My name is Tish Lang, and I've been a resident for 40 years, and both my children have attended the Hyde Park Central School District, and I was a teacher here for 30 years. That the email that you just referenced, where it said one bedroom, did she mention one bed? Is it going to be a one bedroom or a two bedroom?
Sorry, I was referencing a report, a Camoin report, not an email.
Okay, so are we having one bedroom units or two bedroom units?
Both.
Definitely one bedroom units.
Yes.
That's a definite. Okay. Yeah, that's why the information is so confusing for me. I get this information and I get that information.
Who on the planning board is making a statement like that? I'd like to know.
My understanding is that the developers came to the planning board to make a change in the plan so that none of the units would be one bedroom. They would all be multi-bedroom units.
When was that?
Apparently, their reasoning was that...
Come up to the mic. I'm sorry, so the people out in the audience can...
Right. I apologize.
No problem. You can stay there, ma'am, if you're still going to talk.
Trish, why don't you...
right.
Yes.
This could be trouble if I sit down.
That's okay. Feel free to use the mic.
There's also a portable mic there if you want.
What I heard, and I think it's accurate, is that there's no demand for one-bedroom units, and so the developer wants to move them to two-bedroom. Now, that on the face of it, well, who cares? But two bedrooms will have children, you know, I mean, that would be the
Understandable.
difference, yeah.
Did the
That's all I
planning board
wanted to say.
approve it? Because we didn't get a change in the plans, did we?
Not since the
Well,
last month.
and my-
When we had a meeting, there was no change in
Did
those
the
plans.
planning board approve
My
it?
solution, and I understand, you know, that credibility is that question,
they
mine, the
gave us
planning
that
board, and the developers. Why not put that as a clawback? That you get a 20-year if it's at least 70% one-bedroom units, which is the plan that, Nicole, that you guys
we have.
received. And if it isn't at least 70% one-bedroom, there's a real significant effect on the school district. And I know we're not the school district, but we're all taxpayers in the school district, you know, and so that's all, that's where I got my information
Honesty
from.
and
it's
transparency are
reasonable.
part of that, too. So we need to know what that is, because they're not, somebody's not being transparent. if
Yeah.
we're-
Right.
Yeah, yeah, sorry.
No, I'll come back.
Oh.
I have to read through.
Thank you, and I apologize for breaking.
Thank you, John. Well, I think Al's trying to.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
And we brought the proposal.
We have received all the plans to the approval of the planning board, they sent us email, and that's
Yeah.
what we were basing our vote on. If you're telling me that they changed it, we have not heard from the planning board that it was changed. Did you get any notification from the planning board that it
No.
changed?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. No.
So, just for clarification, so we have not, when we received the plans for Phase 2 and the recommendation, formal email from the planning board saying that this is what they're planning, that's what we're basing our vote on. What you're speaking of, we have not been, I don't know if any of us have been informed of. So I can't say that that is an official, of record change to the phase.
Which means we would have to table this.
We would have to
and find
table
out.
it.
I think that's the thing, the transparency and clarity. Al Dot wants to speak. Al?
Dot, you can come up. Go right ahead.
Hello again.
Hi, Dot.
Dot Shenever at 12 White Oaks Road. It was my understanding that these units, one bedroom or two units, have nothing to do with the 20-year pilot. They are not included in it, although they are included in Phase 2. Am I correct in that?
No, just the townhomes. Those, I believe, are the two bedrooms, are not included in the pilot, but there is one-bedroom apartments.
Okay.
Those are included. in
They're on
that.
top of the store.
They're
mixed
they're
use.
above
Yeah,
the
yeah,
commercial
okay,
property.
all right. I misunderstood that then.
That is
To,
untrue statement about the changing it. So it's mixed. I don't know who in the planning board told you, but I'd like to know that.
right. To make, maybe folks would like to know that we will have Tom Mulroy, sorry, Tom, his second in command, and Kelly at a Hyde Park Chamber of Commerce breakfast on March 23rd at 7:30 at the Eveready Diner. They will be there in person, and I know they're looking forward to meeting you and answering questions. So it's a good time for the public to come out to
Just reminded me what else I had to
join
do on the
us.
23rd.
Yes, put it on your list.
So
And
March
sign up.
23rd.
March
at the
23rd,
Ready Diner at 7:30
7:30
a.m. for
a.m.
breakfast.
for breakfast, yes.
7:30?
7:30,
7:30 a.m. for breakfast.
yes.
I gotta get up.
And I have to say, the chamber always has really good breakfast.
Well, it's the Eveready Diner, so it's going to be really, really good.
It's always a good breakfast.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Why don't you have Nicole read
I'm gonna
the
read the whole thing.
the block here, that's basically.
Yeah, it's gonna fall on you, but I'm gonna revert it to her. You
It's
okay
gonna
with
fall
that?
on me.
What do you want me to
When I
read?
did the calculations, it lands on yours.
No, why don't she do that now, so if anybody, so that we know that we're discussing, this is what's in the resolution already. She don't have to read the whole thing, just,
No, when we get to it,
Okay,
what I'll
okay.
do is if,
Okay.
instead of you reading, I told Nicole that's why, because she can read
okay, fine.
better than me.
Yeah, and me, fine, fine.
Anyone else? Comments?
How you doing? I'm Harvey. I live in town of Hyde Park all my life, and I have a couple property houses I own in this town. My biggest concern is that you want to hook up to the sewer. All right, you're only bringing it up to Pinewood Road. Now, who is paying for that?
Not you.
Well, are we going to be taxed on hooked up to the sewer? We're not being hooked up to it. We're not eligible.
Do you have a business in the main core, in the
So you're
district?
basically just going to charge the business? be hooked up to it?
Whoever, there's a hookup fee, and there'll be a usage fee, like
Okay.
typically anywhere else. But we're gathering funds through varieties of grants to run down there. And like I said, if we can avoid building a plant,
Right.
that saves us at least $14 million.
So basically, it's just gonna be on the business hooking up to it?
Anyone that's in that district, if you don't hook up to it,
Well, I have a house on Harvey Street. I'm just trying to say, if we're paying fire and water tax,
yes,
okay?
you're not hooked up to water.
Well, what I'm saying is, we're paying fire and water tax, and now, if you're bringing a sewer up here, are we gonna be taxed on sewer?
Not if you're not tied into it.
Okay. Now,
No, I don't know if that's an accurate statement.
Really?
If you're in a district and you have the potential to tie in, I would think that you're gonna be
if I can't technically tie it in on Harvey Street, right?
How far is that
We
off?
haven't,
far
we haven't
down
developed
the
the district.
The
What we're
district
trying
is
to do is
pretty much
coordinate
main
with the developer now to, if we can make an agreement with them to use the plant that's already in place, that's
Which I
sized.
understand we need
No,
it. We
So,
do.
so it's sized for our consumption or our flow, then we will want to, first, phase one would, to bring the sewer main up Route 9, heading
Pioneer
north
Road.
in the corridor.
Right.
And then we would branch off from there. So without knowing exactly where your house is, I don't know if you would fall in the first district or a different phase. So,
But if we are in that district, we're eligible to hook up to it.
that's correct.
Okay. And then we'd be charged with whatever the hookup fee.
Hook up and.
All right, now who is gonna be responsible on maintenance of the sewer plant down there? Are
Them.
we gonna be,
They will.
they are? Okay, that's all you do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Are they responsible for the lines and the roads over there that are put in?
No, that'll be us.
That would be,
Well, Dutchess County takes it.
Well, eventually, we're hoping that Dutchess County wastewater would take the whole thing over, and sooner than later, because usually they come about us in the 11th hour when something's really old and they take it over, but we would try to negotiate with them to step in and after everything's up and running, take the whole plant and infrastructure over, like they do with a lot of the water plants.
Anybody else? We good? Okay. You spoke, right, Todd? I'm only kidding you. Reminded me about the 23rd. That's all I kept writing. Okay. Nicole?
Yes. Resolution 313-1 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to allow Kyle W. Barnett Esquire of the law firm Vanderwater and Vanderwater LLP to enter into a consent order and judgment to settle an Article 78 proceeding brought by Frank Joseph Paldino, Joseph A. De Silva, Michelle B. Moyle, Greg Rude, and Stacy Singer Rude against the Town of Hyde Park for the tax year 2022.
Hey, may I have a second?
Second?
Will the clerk take a roll call?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-2 of 2023. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the attendance of Building Inspector Donald Westermeyer at the Hudson Valley Code Enforcement Officials Educational Conference, April 19th through 21st, 2023.
May I have a second?
Second?
Will the clerk take a vote call?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Oh.
No, we didn't.
No, we don't have to.
It's just,
I
It's
move-
not a public hearing.
it's not a public hearing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. John, you're up.
Resolution 313-3 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept the 2023 updated list of electrical inspectors as the official list of electrical inspectors for the Town of Hyde Park and approve inspections on time to be added as electrical inspectors to the said list for the Town of Hyde Park.
All right, may I have a second?
Second.
All right. Will the clerk take a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-4 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint Brian Woodsley to the Town of Hyde Park Board of Assessment Review.
May I have a second?
Second.
Who?
Nicole.
Both? Okay. Will the clerk take the roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-5 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint Don Veith as a member to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Donnie, you're in.
Congratulations, Don.
Welcome aboard.
Resolution 313-6 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to rescind Resolution 2027-5 of 2023, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to send a letter of support to the Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency, IDA, in support of the T-Rex at Hyde Park LLC Bellafield Phase 2 project.
Which one is that? Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
All right. Will the clerk take the roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, Nicole, would you please read Resolution 7 of 313, number 7, please, and go from the first whereas to the second whereas, right there. End it at the September 27th, please.
Resolution 313-7 of 2023, a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to send a letter of support to the Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency, IDA, in support of the T-Rex at Hyde Park LLC Bellafield Phase 2 project. Whereas T-Rex Hyde Park owner LLC, a New York limited liability company, having its principal office at 500 Mamaroneck Avenue, Harrison, New York, 10528, the company, has applied to the Dutchess County Industrial Development Agency, the agency, requesting certain financial assistance within the means of Section 85414 of the Act, including potential exemptions from certain sales and use taxes, real property taxes, real estate transfer taxes, and mortgage recording taxes, collectively the financial assistance in connection with a project consisting of a mixed-use residential commercial community, including 24 buildings consisting of 12 townhomes, which are exempt from the pilot, 18 buildings consisting of 224 multifamily residential units over retail, 6 buildings, 120 loft apartments over retail, 6 buildings, a clubhouse over retail, 1 building, a sales office, a multi-tenant building, a parking structure, and maintenance structures. Collectively, the project commonly referred to as Phase 2 of the Bellafield project, which project is depicted on the attached exhibit prepared by Pesario Associates dated September 27, 2022.
Can you read the next two whereas, please?
Whereas the Town Board and Planning Board have studied the impacts of Phase 2 project and determined that it will bring benefits to the town in terms of jobs for residents, commercial restaurants, and businesses open to the public, public gathering places like the Village Green, and a new rental housing that will support existing and new businesses in the town and reinforce the town's identity as a tourist destination. And whereas the project has heretofore qualified for the customary 10-year pilot under the applicable policy of the agency, but has recently applied to increase the pilot period from 10 years to 20 years for Phase 2 project based upon the unanticipated post-COVID conditions, which include significant increases in interest rates and in the cost of building and construction materials, which collectively rendered the standard 10-year pilot inadequate to allow the Phase 2 project to proceed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right. Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
I must abstain because of my constituents and due to the issues of clarity, pardon? And issues of clarity. So I abstain.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prosakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. And okay, motion is carried. Okay, now John.
Resolution 313-8 of 2023. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute the Town Board's consent to having the Hyde Park Planning Board act as lead agency for the seeker review of the Masco lot line alteration application.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
IP. Will the clerk take the roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prosakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-9 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk and Town Engineer to solicit bids for the Town of Hyde Park Town Hall addition.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right. Will the clerk take the roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prosakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Golden. We said we'd do it, and it's coming forward. Nicole.
Resolution 313-10 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to adopt a disinterment policy for Union Cemetery located in the Town of Hyde Park, County of Dutchess, State of New York.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prosakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-11 of 2023. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for Town of Hyde Park groundskeeper cleaner Carl Wagner.
All right. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prosakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-12 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for Town of Hyde Park groundskeeper cleaner Richard Decker.
May I have a second?
Second?
Thanks, Don. All right, will the clerk please do the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-13 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for the Town of Hyde Park Justice Clerk Pamela Lucia, or is it Luca?
Lucia.
Lucia, thank you.
Lucia. May I have a second, please?
Aye. Oh, second. Sorry.
I got you all messed up now.
I lost that hour of sleep.
All right,
It's,
will
starting to
the
affect
clerk
me.
will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Who next?
Who we leave off?
I thought it was Dawn. Dawn just went? Yep. Oh, boy. Resolution 313-14 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of Town of Hyde Park Highway Department Motor Equipment Operator Kyle McAllister.
May I have a second?
Second?
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-15 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of Town of Hyde Park Legislative Aide Eve Smith.
May I have a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. No opposed? Motion carried.
With thanks to Eve for her service.
Yes.
Resolution 313-16 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint part-time police officer Anthony Roche for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
May I have a second?
Second?
All right. Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, great. Is the officer here? Oh, little guy.
That was for Sarah. And it's roast. Okay. Just raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Anthony Rosales,
I, Anthony
do
Rosales,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of part-time police officer
of part-time police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
You're so
ability.
sworn. Congratulations. You could just sign your oath. Oops. Right there. Perfect.
Take a quick picture with the goals.
Give us a little picture.
$25. Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
We voted on that, right? Okay. Okay, who left off?
Resolution 313-7 of 2023.
Okay, Don.
Resolution authorized the Town of Hyde Park Police Officer Mark Passatino to attend the
SNYPJOA.
SNYPJOA Basic Juvenile Police Officers Association Training on March 27th through March 31st, 2023, at the Westchester County Police Academy in Valhalla, New York.
Will we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-18 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Director, Robert Pollard, to attend the 2023 American Camp Association Tri-State Camp Conference, Tuesday, March 14th through Thursday, March 16th, 2023, in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
May I have a second, please?
Second?
Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-19 of 2023. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept the 2023 New York State Office of Children and Family Services Youth Development Grant through the Dutchess County Department of Community and Family Services for the Hyde Park Recreation Learn to Swim program.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, will the town clerk please do the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. None opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-20 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to submit the 2024 New York State Office of Children and Family Services Youth Development Grant through the Dutchess County Department of Community and Family Services for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Learn to Swim program.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. None opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 313-21 of 2023, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to amend the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Fee Schedule for 2023.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right. Will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. None opposed? Motion carried. This is the one we're pulling, correct?
Yes.
Okay, any new and old business?
I have a couple of things. Number one, during our meeting, the Hyde Park Central School District did put out notification that the schools, including the UPK program and all out-of-district busing, will be closed tomorrow for inclement weather, so kids got a day off already. The second thing is I just want to remind people, please bring in your garbage cans tonight. They don't belong on the road. The plows will be moving a lot of snow. The snow knocks your garbage cans over, not the plow. And do remove your cars from the road. It is a state of emergency night. Nobody should be parked on the road. Remember that these men and women who go out and plow our roads are plowing for hours. They get tired. They do a great job, and it's a hard job. It's harder than you think. And please just give them a break. Stay off the road. Stay home. Make some popcorn. Watch a movie. You got the day off tomorrow. So please, give them a hand by doing that. And the last thing I just wanted to bring up, and I've talked to some of my other council members, especially when things like Bellafield come up, there's a lot of information that floats around, and a lot of it is coming on Facebook, and a lot of it's not true. Please, when you have a question, address it to one of us or the town board, and I personally apologize for those that sent me emails. We had a password blocking thing put on our emails over the weekend. I don't know why. So I could read your emails, but I could not respond to them. But I do caution, there was a lot of information, especially there are some sites on Facebook, John and I were talking about it, that look like they're official pages. If you want official information on the town, please go to the town website. That's the official page. That's where you will get your answers. And do, contact us. This tonight with the thing with the planning board, we need to have accurate information. It's like reading the National Enquirer. Is it accurate? I don't know, but it's disturbing, the amount of information that people were asking me about that just, it wasn't accurate. From the amount of money involved in the tax breaks to the fact that people had to bear that burden and their taxes were going to go up. We, a town board, actually reduced your taxes this year. And I'm pretty proud of that. We didn't keep it under the tax cap, we reduced it. And that's something to be, we're proud, I think we're proud of that. But there are big issues out there that are going to be going on, and rumor is not the way to handle a town board. And that I was very disappointed on. So I just wanted to mention, if you want official information regarding the town, go to the official source.
Me.
Yeah.
All of us.
All of us.
Anyone else?
Yeah, on Ward 3 business up in my neck of the woods, on the other side of town, as we call it, on 9G. We've been having a lot of heavy truck traffic going as a thoroughfare through Creek Road. And then a lot of the neighbors are upset, and I can't blame them. We had an incident that just recently happened with a dump trailer that flipped over, and scrap metal landed on all the neighbors' yards, shut the road down for numerous hours, and we're very, very fortunate that somebody didn't get hurt or a kid wasn't out there waiting for a school bus. And this has been an ongoing problem. So we've been having discussions, and starting in next month's agenda, there will be some stuff that's going to be out there for the public to come and make public comment on. We would like to try to make a local law, if all the town board members agree, and we get the support of the highway superintendent and the police chief. I'd personally like to see a 5-ton weight limit on that road, except local delivery, which means if you're getting furniture or an oil delivery or garbage truck, you can be in that vicinity, but if you're caught traveling across that road and you don't belong there, you will be ticketed. So next month, that's going to be a hot topic that will be coming up in front of the board. So I just want to let all my constituents know for the 3rd Ward, I hear what you're saying, and we're going to try to implement something to correct this problem.
And that could be handled locally, John, without DOT getting involved?
Yeah, local
That's
law.
town
Okay.
road.
Yeah.
We've also
Great
placed the traffic trailer out there facing one direction. Now it's facing the opposite direction for 2 weeks. We'll wait to get that data report on the speed that people are traveling also. Anything else?
Nope.
Good?
Yep.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in
Second?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't need a second.
Thank you.
Don?
Did it add much time?
You know what, I wished I had thought, look, look, yeah.